Let's keep chugging on. No, sorry.
Oh,
no, sorry. Let me just take a water break. Hi, welcome in. Let's take a water break. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Aries new moon solar eclipse. Are you kidding me? Once in a lifetime configurations, once in a lifetime vibe check. I am so glad that you all have joined me today. Welcome if you've never even fucking seen my bitch ass before in your life. I go by the name of Virgo St. North Node. You are tapped into Tethered Studios. You are on their archive channel. So shout out to Tethered Studios for giving me the best job in the world. Today I'm just going to channel like I said, Aries new moon solar eclipse message for, you know who I'm reading for because you obviously clicked on the video because you resonate with the sign. But I actually don't know. I have this little stack of the remaining zodiac signs that I am being requested to do. This doesn't really mean anything spiritual. This is just so I can give you the accountability that I do this shit live and direct so you can see what my talent, skills, and abilities really are. Exactly. I'm going to just be using 2 decks today. This one here is a Crystal Resonance Oracle deck. All it really is going to do is give us an overview about the energy that the zodiac sign that I'm going to pick here momentarily is going to be going under. And then we're going to use this wonderful vintage Rider-Waite tarot deck to break it down. Again, you don't need to know anything about anything in order to listen to this. You can just shut up and listen. So we're blessed. We're happy. I'm like feeling the revitalization. This sign is giving me some energy. So feel free to take a deep breath and lock in. Here we go. Let's see what we're going to do. Let's see. Girl, why can't I open this? Oh I literally knew it's my girls. It's literally my girls, Capricorns. I always know when Capricorn's energy is about to pop out because I was feeling it. I was like, oh no, it's giving Capricorn. Capricorn, how the fuck are we doing? I know you're changed. I know you're different after today. I know you're different. I know this shit is clicking for you because that's how it's feeling right now. It's like the shit is locking in. Isn't it? Isn't it? Let's look at your overview, bitch. We're going to talk about Capricorn's divine will, the right use of your fucking will. I don't even have to pull a card. I don't have to pull another card on this because I already know. Bottom of the decks. It's so embarrassing. Stop, Capricorn. Did this solar eclipse kick your ass because you've been seeing the ways where you've been inserting your wills that were imbalanced for you? Do you see how you were leaving shit imbalanced for you because you're not using your will and the will of the divine? Do you know that? I have a Capricorn like staring at me right now laughing because this is him. This is Timothy. This is what you bitches was doing. Like, if you're high vibrational, you know that your will and your use of your will has everything to do with why shit's either balanced or not balanced. There's no more of you Capricorns playing Cuddy anymore, acting like, why did that just happen to me? What? What you mean, why did it happen to me? You created it. You created it. Your choices, your actions, your thoughts, your focus, your attention created it. And at the same time, I think this is the biggest blessing because finally that 2-year portal of understanding me and understanding we is already shook us up so we're realigned. Capricorns are finally able to balance their checkbook. They're actually able to give and receive equally because they finally let God shake off the fucking imbalanced stuff. Things that don't match your will, Capricorn. Things that don't actually reflect the choices you would make. You needed to let it go because it was what was holding up your paychecks. I'm serious. Like, the books were not balanced. I know you felt it. You always run around yapping like, oh God, like I just don't have the friend group I want. I don't have the money I want. My business isn't taking off the way it should. I always have to do stupid shit that's out of my, that just for a check or just to get by, or I'm always just trying to survive, baby. Yeah, we're sorry that you're doing that too, but you're the Capricorn, huh? You're like at the top of the mountain. Like, you're like the right use of will. So we're obviously talking about that today. Yeah, bottom of the deck. The sun is going crazy. Excuse me, can we close one? Because the girls can't see anything I'm saying right now. I'm sorry. Thank you. I had to call my assistant and ask him to. I know I look good with this lighting, but it's horrible for you guys who are trying to actually like trust that I'm not like making shit up right now with the cards. So you just need to bring the house lights down just a little bit. So much better. Thank you, Capricorn. Seriously? Seriously? And I know you're probably feeling that way. Like, why the fuck did it take me this long? Like, why was I gaslighting the girls? Like, it was definitely me. Like, it was me. It was the choices I was making. Because I'm seeing a lot of pre-messages, but I'm not even going to get into it. Because I could go on for hours for you girls. So I'm trying not to do that because you know I'm privy to you bitches. You know I love my Capricorn girls. So let's give you a live read. exciting. So exciting. We're talking about the right use of will. And are you noticing how when you actually applied your will in the right direction, all of a sudden everything makes sense. Right. Wheel of Fortune. Literal Wheel of Fortune. Literal Wheel of Fortune. Okay, seriously, Capricorn? I'm literally watching a Capricorn right now in real time find out that they're psychic. Literally, surprise. Congratulations, you would be the most psychic. Yeah, the oldest earth sign, right? They're literally finding out like, oh my god, I've been prophesying this shit about myself this whole time. But the thing that was keeping them from this information that's always been open and accessible to them has literally been, like, the literal thing that's been holding up your Wheel of Fortune was that you literally just refuse to be obedient to God. Like, you literally refuse to stop acting how you were and start acting like your actual divine purpose. Like, straight up, it wasn't even complicated. Like, I know you might have been in cycle after cycle. I mean, we're talking like time, like decades for some of you, where you were literally doing the same thing over and over and over again, and God was literally like, bruh, do something else, put your will somewhere else, put your effort somewhere else, because you're not getting back what you deserve, because you're not putting your will in the right place, and it's throwing off your own internal balance of masculine and feminine. And I feel like the high priestess literally that comes out, like, literally, like, this is the vibration. God, the sun is just so bad. But anyways, the high priestess comes out because I think that when you come back into balance, just like the two black and white poles here, holy cow. Dankeschön. But just like the black and white poles here, I feel like Capricorn, especially as a feminine energy, if you never allow yourself to go into your feminine energy, that's what was throwing things off. It's true. Because I think when we're talking about will, the masculine principle in you, and needing to be in balance, your masculine and your feminine were at odds. I'm serious. And I think it has a lot to do, it's not all Capricorn's fault. It has to do with the old paradigm where people would lie about what your sign is. Your sign is a feminine sign. Earth signs are feminine. Capricorns are not these masculine landlords. They're feminine. And so I think that the way that people kept you from, because if you incarnated as a Capricorn, congratulations, you're supposed to be rich. You're literally supposed to have a lot of money. You're literally supposed to be very powerful. And the way that we put a muzzle on you bitches from making too many bands is to try to tell you you're masculine, to tell you that you need to go out and do and fulfill for someone else. So a lot of Capricorns are like, wait, why am I working for you bitches? Even if you have a high position, why would I do that when I'm supposed to be creating something that could cause it's not a joke. And if you actually let your feminine come into balance with all this, because I think Capricorns have done a lot of shit. Like I'm saying, I'm with a Capricorn right now who literally, he knows how to produce. He knows how to overproduce, but he doesn't spend enough time staying in the material. Like sometimes God's like, here's some books, read the material, create the concept. No, I'm just gonna work with my hands. I'm just gonna exhaust my hands. And then you're wondering when the money's drying up. You're wondering why the money's not long. You're exhausting and wearing out your girls. Your girls are tired. They don't have to do, you need to let your feminine catch up to how much your masculine has done. I literally cannot stress this to you. Capricorn, you need to take a nap. You need to let your brain think and ideate and sit back and create the lore, the backstory behind all this ducats. This is the jackpot that gets stuck in Vegas, and it's just still spewing out jackpot double W's over and over and over again. And it's your divine feminine needs time to figure out what she's going to create with all of that, because I just think that Capricorns are insane with it. They literally make so much that no one can relate to. You guys can produce. And it's not a good thing. It's you were being abused. It's bad when they had you a pack mule. They have you doing too much. You need to offsort that. You need to let some other masculine sign do all the actual heavy lifting, because you're the CEO conceptualizer. You're supposed to be generating brilliant concepts and being really deeply connected to the concepts of what's really going at this time. So again, it's just about letting this feminine principle catch up to how much you've willed. You get what I'm saying? It's not even that I think that this is a message about your will being maybe so more misaligned. It's just you really might be comfortable with self-willing stuff, but you also have to let your education, development, and ideation and creative abilities catch up to that as well. You can't keep going where one is way more valuable and then your concepts be light as hell. You know what I mean? Because I think people can already see your craftsmanship is on 10. You know what I mean? Your gift is on 10. But I just think that you know, if the lore, the backstory behind it is like very flat, they're like, dang, like this artist like changes my life. But for some reason, like, you know, when I ask them a question about like, what inspires you? They don't even have an answer. Like you, Capricorn, I think you're about to go into an era where like your money, you should spend this Wheel of Fortune to let you just like go explore, like go learn like what you love, like go learn like what it is that you want to do, where just go ideate. Because I mean, you do not have to worry about survival, especially if you're a Capricorn that's coming out of survival mode. Congratulations, you'll never be in survival mode again, like never again. But also like take this bag, it's not stopping, and just know that the best thing that you can do is to like pour into your feminine, like straight up, like things you can attract, things that have value, things that are very Venusian for you. Go listen to like live music. Go, I don't even know, I'm just kidding. Like Capricorn, you need to like leave the studio, you need to leave the warehouse, you need to like leave the office and just let the girls who have more like time, they want to develop their mask, let them do that. Because you have like, I think you've just willed so much more than you can conceptualize right now. And I think you need to let your mind catch up to like how big what you built really even is. And I think that once that happens, it's like, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't even realize I'm like retired. Like, I didn't even realize it. We're first card out, it's already going crazy. Like, I knew you girls were going to do this. Oh my God. Of course. At this point, Saturn's cutting you off. Like, Saturn's like, stop. Like, literally stop. I already told you, it's your temperance era. Saturn, justice is like, no. Okay, now we have to intervene. Karma's like intervening. Like, you need to stop. Because you need to purify your waters, right? Water is a feminine principle, Capricorn. You need to let yourself be replenished by the water. Water gives you new information. I think you've made everything you can make in this last cycle. If it's one thing about a Capricorn, we get it. You want the girls to know you're resourceful. You, like, this is, I don't even support the eating of flesh, but like, this is the person who's like sucking on the bone of the animal. Like, there's no meat on that baby. We get it. You used it all. You know what I mean? This is the person who's like, you don't want to like leave. I don't like to like let any scraps go to waste. I'm going to make a whatever out of anything. It's like, okay, we know you're resourceful. We know you're gonna pull that turnip till it's dry. But right now, this next phase, like, you're realizing like, oh, did I just make all those ducats because I'm going on an extended vacation? Like, I'm going on an extended retreat, like, where I'm just gonna like pour into me. There's nothing to produce. There's nothing to make. I don't have to abuse my hands any further. In fact, I should go get a manicure. I should go get my toes done because this is crazy. You need to let this water purify you. You need to filter out just like how many, I just see like Capricorns right now, I'm like seeing like, you know when there's like hella a fat bubbly blister after like these boots you had to wear, your work boots you had to wear, like I'm seeing like blisters. Like, it's like you worked, you willed it, you know, you did it, you definitely did it. You've made like a mountain's worth of information, you've made like a mountain's worth of like concepts, and I just think now you get to eat up and nourish yourself with the waters that come from what you've created. So beautiful. I think this is going to be a very straightforward, like, honestly, like, not even, girl, oh my God. And whatever, you guys, you already know this. You don't even literally need me to say anything, because bottom of the deck for what manifests, you're literally the King of Pentacles. You're literally yourself. Like, you're literally the richest version of yourself. So congratulations. But you did, this was a you thing. You knew you wanted to wrap your cycle way too wealthy, like, just so full of money, so full, like, whatever. So that's why I say, like, I'm an Aquarius, so, you know, I can't even judge. Like, I can't even be like, Capricorn, why did you go that hard? Why are you doing that much? Like, maybe you like luxurious vacations, but as long as you know that Spirit is very clearly saying, like, okay, that's great. You got some Nine of Pentacles. That's impressive, whatever. But this isn't over now. You're not going to be making that. It is time for you to like, pause. Like, you need, because you need to now go sit down. You need to go like sit down and like run the thing. You know what I mean? You need to like go sit down and not be doing like this much, because it's not, this is like the young protege who's like trying to work their way up, but like now you've been partnered. Now you're like senior. It's like, you're not, you have to allow yourself to transition from like pack rat, you know, I worked in the factory, but now you own the factory. So you just need to know that like, you got to let this eclipse close that cycle, because you're transitioning now to something so different, Oh my, Capricorn, really, you let it get that serious in the past? Instead of listening to Spirit when they said like, okay, you did it, you done enough, you literally, again, this is you running your resources into the ground. Like, you took an inch and you went a mile, and to the point where it's like hurting you. So you're like, I'm locked out. Like, I can't get inside. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, why do I not have any money? Like, I can't believe I built this and it's not like big. And you like personalized it. Like, and it was just like not true. Like, dude, you're not getting punished right now because your shit's not lucrative. You're getting punished because you refuse to take your seat as the CEO conception. You're the one who made it. Like, Spirit's trying to say, like, maybe in the future, like, someone else is going to be doing the labor of what you just built. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay that you don't. I think you were like freaked out. Like, I think you were like, no, I can't go inside. Like, I can't go inside. I don't want to go inside, because I think you thought that, like, just because you're moving up in a position that you were gonna lose it. Like, because that's what's wrong with you, Capricorns. You're always looking backwards. And I need you to have a little more of that age of the Aquarian look ahead. Because I think whenever we are facing like a death process, we're always, if you're someone who's really scared of the future, you're going to be like, but I'm leaving this behind, but I'm leaving them behind. And you're thinking about what's from your past. Even if you completely hated what was in your past, you're freaked out because you think like, well, if that disappears, whoa, and you think that it actually means like there's nothing ahead. What's ahead is literally the fucking Wheel of Fortune. It's like, no, dude, like, no, nobody's telling you to let that go or like cut that off or be done with it. It's because you're done with it. It's literally because you're done with it. And you do need to understand that like the forward facing for you, Capricorn, has nothing but just hella bands. And I just think that you're so, like, again, like from this old age, you were like super used to being the like laborer, and you're not a laborer. You know what I'm saying? It's good that you have skills and you're resourceful and you can actually sustain yourself, but it's not really what your position and role is. And I think that's the problem. It's like all Capricorns, all they knew how to do was like get a trade and like be really serious about it. Empress. Like I said, you're running an empire. Like, this is just Spirit being like, okay, it's okay. Because I think that Capricorns are relating to an experience where it's like, I am building something from the ground up, right? Which most of the time when we're starting a business or we're starting something conceptual, we have no idea. Like, we don't know where we're going. We don't know where this ends. We don't even know what's guiding us necessarily when we get these like these premonitions to begin something. And so I get, because Capricorn is like really connected to their journey. Like, they remember every step. I remember what I had to do. You know what I mean? That sometimes you don't realize, like, oh wait, there is an empire now. Like, all those little mini steps have now led to like something that's massive. And then I think with this eclipse, it's like trying to get you to just go sit down as the Empress, because I get it. You remember, because I think this is a lot of Capricorns like who started a business, let's say, as like themselves. Like, oh, I just started it because I like love to do whatever I love to do. And then the business now, like now your business like is, the production needs at this time are so massive that you could like hire 10 employees. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you went from a business of one and now it's like, okay, I could literally hire 20 people to work for me. That's how much money you're bringing in. That's how many people want your product, right? And so I think you were feeling insecure though, and you're like, you know, that control comes in because you're like, wait, no, because you're still
Oh, yeah. Here.
Can I get your help getting this lawnmower at the back of the car?
Yes, 1 second.
okay. You know, Capricorn shit, labor shit. But anyway, you're experiencing and rationalizing and realizing at this point that like you don't actually have to see. You see that? Do you see my Capricorn? This Capricorn just got called to go get a lawnmower out of the back of the car. But what I'm saying is you have to be okay right now at this time with realizing and actualizing that like this is over. This is ending. This, I get you may have had to build it from scratch, or you may have had to do this thing from scratch. You may have had to be committed to this thing on your own or do it on your own. And the most important thing at this point is like Spirit is still calling judgment, because it's like, just because you started at that place doesn't mean that you weren't meant to be the conceptualizer. Doesn't mean that you weren't meant to be exactly what you are. So let's keep going. Let's see. I just think that's funny. You see, my Capricorn's like the world's like, they need you, Caps. Exactly. Because I think the offer that's coming to you next is about an emotional renewal. Someone's just going to call you the king. They're going to call you the king of the shit, the queen of the shit, you know. They're just going to crown your royalty, you know, at the end of the day. And that's the most important thing to me, you know, that you know, is that like what you have to look forward to, because obviously you've made the wealth you wanted, you have the organization you want, you have the idea you wanted, you have your position in the world that you've wanted, you've worked your hardest to do that on your own. I just feel like the reality of what's going on right now is Knight of Cups, right? It's the reality is, you know, I'm ready for something to come and like help me like relax a bit more, because I think you're being crowned. It's so simple. Like the message is literally not even long for you Capricorns. And the other thing I want to remind you is you have to, the reason this is happening is because you can't, we're going back to the original information here about balance, right? The original information about like, you got to be in balance, masculine and feminine. You as a Capricorn internally cannot have a preference to being more masculine or more feminine or whatever. It's really important that you know. And the only reason you were dragged through like building something from the ground up like you were was just so that you could be in the awareness that like, I do need to be someone who is aware of all moving parts, because in the age of Pisces, Capricorns really did abuse things by like always constantly being, you know, people who could exploit, like maybe they didn't know like what working for them felt like, and so they could have been so driven by like their goals for their business that they don't really give a shit about like how people feel working for them or like what roles may actually entail. So this whole process was just so you know that you don't ever have to like abuse power to have the position that you have. You can still yield your power respectfully, but without abusing any part of it. And I think it was just like a dark night of soul, because that's where you're at, right? The Hermit, you're like lighting your way forward in what feels like a darker situation, and it was just to initiate you to really learn to value. If you have a Two of Cups in your life that gives you the emotions you need, don't ever undervalue that, because I also think this is Capricorn moving from being super materialistic to realizing that, again, it's like an earth sign theme, but like realizing that emotions are really so valuable, like things that can fill up your spirit, things that can fill up your intuition, that can affirm your intuition, things that can really like reflect to you like how creative you really are really, really just as important as things that can like surround you with like material things and goods and valuables and what have you. So all very important. Ace of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. Exactly, because this is going to probably be like the shortest and most like straightforward of all the reads. Capricorn, you already built something. Eight of Pentacles. You built something that you went crazy on. And so Spirit's just trying to be like, Chef, put your utensils down. Stop. You don't have to be the one to build. This is now gonna Wheel of Fortune. You made something super sustainable that now can sustain itself, which is the only reason. Spirit wasn't removing you or telling you to like hands off of it. So, but it's so that you could see how it like sustains itself. Because now you're just gonna be crowned. You're literally just going to be crowned in your spiritual truth. You're just gonna be crowned in your spiritual awareness. I think you really were like, wait, I can't. Does this mean I'm gonna lose what I just built? No, I wasn't done with it. You're not being asked to be done with it. You're just being asked to know when something it's been built and when something can like run itself. Because I think when we're programming, right, like if we're programming an artificial intelligence something, right, if we're programming a robot, like there should be a point that like when we press go, when we press like okay, do the robot thing, I think we just need to know that like that was the whole point. Like you were in your coding era, but now you're done coding, and now the script should run on itself. And if it successfully runs, which it looks like it does, you're about to be crowned for that. It's such a simple message. Like I don't even know what else to say. Yep. And Spirit just doesn't want you to fear both sides of yourself, masculine and feminine. They don't want you to fear being in union. You don't have to sabotage places where you really are evenly and authentically connecting and relating to yourself. Truly is really the truth. So at the end of the day, the Chariot, right, is here when it comes to pick you up, when it comes to doop doop beep beep, I'm in me mom's car. When it comes to take you forward, Spirit just wants to have you face some of your fears around like deeply committing to yourself in equal parts, and not just making excuses for yourself to be too masculine, too feminine, da 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 da. Because at the end of the day, it really still is about the Chariot. It really still is about the fact that like you will be asked to move forward, and the Chariot is all about masculine and feminine being in going the same direction. And I think like the only reason that you were maybe in the past projecting onto people around you, or even partnerships that really were trying to pour into you genuinely, was because like you had these deep fears of your own success. And we're really scared about what we can build, what we can resurrect, what we can create when we're in union with ourselves. A lot of time we're always flighty. We're like, again, I think also this is a much more like stationary and still Capricorn. Like you're not so cardinal, just trying to run around and be like much more like avoidant. I feel like there was an avoidant energy that was manifesting as like an anxious energy with Capricorn, because I think you knew that like maybe you're a Capricorn that wasn't doing this, that has been building a life that doesn't honor like that you really, like, your feminine and masculine need to be in union. Like, you can't have a preference to one or the other. That's not the future. Oh my God. And here's why. Because Capricorn, there's no more of you creating 10 pentacles without knowing it. Like, there's no more of you not knowing. Like I said, I opened this reading when I was like having my Capricorn husband stare at me, where I was like, dude, he's like building stuff that he doesn't even know he's like doing. He doesn't even know he's like running and sufficing. He has no concept of that, like, whatsoever. And so the most important thing is, like, it's here for you now. But I don't want any Capricorns to like have this moment where it's like 10 of Pentacles that you created on your own has arrived, and you get to enjoy that forevermore, where you're like super apprehensive, or you feel like you, because here's the thing, Capricorn, I should just title this reading like, no one was boxing you in. Like, you were just terrified. Like, so just breathe into this success, because it's assured. No one wanted to put you in a box. No one wanted to anything of the sorts, really. So I think that it's very important that you recognize and are aware of like all aspects of what you're building, because in the age of Pisces, you were doing the exact same thing you're doing in the age of the Aquarius. You're like on top of it. Again, you're meant to be really successful. You're really meant to have a lot of abundance, but at the same time, not being aware of like every part, and not valuing masculine and feminine principles equally, not valuing that you're just as good of a creative director of your own life as you are the producer of your own life. Like, not seeing those as like ones, like, you know, I think this is even Capricorn, like ending, like taking stuff like, oh, that's better money, even though it's like, maybe it's not always about that, because I think right now, Capricorn, you can't ask for more money. Like, I mean, you have so much abundance and wealth and all of these things that are at your disposal. So I think it's just more about like, at this point, you don't have to be moved by materialism. Like, you don't have to be moved by like, oh, I'll always take the bigger bag. Like, I'll always take the bigger check. Like, maybe you should start taking things that just like develop out your spirit, that develop out like, that give back to you, that just like you're gonna have a lot more time. Like I said, I'm hearing like to volunteer your time in different ways that don't always just have to do with this business that like builds itself. Because again, like I said, you're at the place where like someone could like sell their Fortune 500 company and just take the profit, and you would never do that, because again, this is something that you built from your heart. But again, I just feel like you're at this place where the business is automated, so you never had to fear your own success. Like, the business was just getting ready to be automated. Like, you built the script, you made the code. So you're going to be crowned for how special and how magnificent and how genius what you do and what you've done on behalf of the earth really is. Like I said, you obviously make things and institutions with sustainability in mind. So we know that you're building what we like to call like 100-year businesses, right? We know that anytime you get an idea, it really gives emperors, it really gives all of that context. And so it's just so important that when you use your will properly, you really balance out situations. And I think you were just seeing extremes where it's like, we really need you to balance out your will so that you can balance out your situation. Like, you need to know when you're being called to produce something. You need to be knowing when you're being called to just give a creative idea or give clarity or tell the truth or whatever the case may be. Like, there's all of these different aspects that show that you don't privy one side of your brain towards the other. And I think I want to just end with this aside, like Capricorn, I think like the things that make you anxious are invitations to ignite through. So instead of just fearing something indefinitely, like if something makes you anxious, work on that. If you really feel like you struggle with, like, this is random, like if it's like, oh man, like I really want to like sharpen my, I want to like really sharpen my Spanish, but I always get really anxious when I speak Spanish publicly to people, right? Then the best thing is, instead of like stopping at the anxiety, like triumph over it, like be the person that goes through the experience. And so that's just the most important thing to recognize. That's the most important thing to like navigate at this time, is that like we're no longer as Capricorn stopping at any like anxiety or fear, because it won't go anywhere. Like if you're always like, oh, I'll turn around, that's scary, I'm not going to do that, then at the end of the day, we're not really growing as much. And that's the reason that I think you grew a business that like shocked you, because I think you were stunting your growth. But remember, businesses are like babies, they're like separate from you. So like your business is now grown and is showing up as like 10 pentacles. People are ready to give you contracts, people are ready to crown you as the GOAT, and you're like, ooh, because you might have been still like, oh, I feel like spiritually though, like I'm not really I don't know that much information about my spiritual truth yet. So I feel like for a lot of our Capricorns, I'm really excited for you, because this is a new era where I think you should take the money you made from the business, because you don't have to focus on it anymore, and you should really apply this wheel. You see this Sphinx? learn your spiritual truth. That's the first thing I think you should do. Take all the money you made from your business and understand why God, like, how did I even do that? It has to do with your spirit. The answer to that is in your spirit, because Capricorns are like, damn, people love this. This is really generating a lot. This is really like a good thing. And I think the reality is like you're finally coming to terms, you're finally recognizing, you're finally understanding, you're finally in the full cognitive awareness that the way you can even be a success in that way is because of who you are spiritually. So there's a lot to learn if you never thought of yourself in terms of your spiritual truth or your spiritual health or your spiritual wealth. Because I think a lot of this stuff comes down to the third dimension and people, and listen, you can be wherever you're at on your journey about how things manifest. But the gravitational pull of planet Earth brings the cosmos down. So whenever you find yourself like, holy shit, I'm in a 10 of Pentacles situation, what? I think sometimes you get anxiety when you don't know where that's sourced from. So a lot of times you get really scared, like, I don't want to claim my abundance because I feel like I don't know where it came from. And so now we're going back and identifying yourself as the source of the Mega Millions. Because if you get Mega Millions and you think it was just the luck of the draw versus like very calculated, like hard, like you built that with your hands, you built that literally with invisible energy. So I mean, just as long as we're really aware of that, as long as we're really in the understanding that like, oh, okay, that makes so much more sense. And I think the thing that Capricorn is going to give themselves is like going forward with this abundance you manifested to like dive into spiritual education on yourself. So I'm super excited for you. This is probably like the quickest, most to the point. I mean, it's not really that quick, but it's such a to the point energy, and I'm really excited for you because you learning to apply your will in the right direction, knowing when to apply your force in your will and knowing when to be receptive and not actually balancing having a preference for masculine over feminine energy or vice versa, like not having a preference to one or the other. So like I said, like you could be on either side. You could be really comfortable with your feminine nature and conceptualizing things, but not so great at like producing and creating things for yourself, or vice versa, really strong at like always wanting to produce, but never really giving your self time to like think of like deeper ideas. And so you're getting that opportunity now because it looks like you made the money either way, you made the check either way, and you're being recognized as that, right? But I think that now you get to spend some time within as a hermit to like start to develop this a little more, because I think you thought like a lot of times, like I think Capricorn's just coming out of like a very like this eclipse is taking away your need to be like so defensive and so whatever. And now that you don't have to be as defensive anymore, it's like, it's a really positive experience. Like, you know, it's really, yeah. So I'm just really excited for you as a sign. I'm really excited for you as a collective to get to know yourself spiritually, because I think that's going to be more valuable to you than like any dollar amount. And I think you're going to see why you're worth it. You're going to see why people invest in you so much. You're going to finally understand like, oh, I guess that's why I always attract good things, or why like opportunities always find me. Because I think before you knew your spiritual truth for yourself, you really were just out here vibing and just like taking life as it came. But now you get to see like it's all deeply personal. It's all like deeply rooted in a deep purpose. So happy Aries solar eclipse. Like keep transforming through this energy. And like I said, spend that check on like a vacation to like go study something that has to do with your soul's origin or something, like something beautiful like that. So very, very excited for you. Congratulations and happy solar eclipse.